my God, I am so tired of coming on this show that we created to talk about a team that does not give one flying fuck about being competent. Welcome to a new episode of the Late Night Lake Show podcast. It's your hosts, Ricky and Kwame. We're just going to get right into it. We're not 3 games into the NBA season, and it definitely feels like the fucking sky is falling. The Los Angeles Lakers dropped a heartbreaker in the 3rd game of the year to the Portland Trail Blazers in a game that you absolutely cannot lose at home, 106-104 on Sunday by the time you guys are hearing this. The Lakers are now by far the worst three-point shooting team through 3 games in NBA history of recent memory. I'm just making that stat up, but it just feels like that. The Lakers have a roster full of undersized players that are not capable of hitting an outside shot if literally their entire family was being held at gunpoint with a Nerf gun. It's probably one of the most disgusting starts that a lot of Laker fans have seen a team take on. And here's the most frustrating part about all of this. We all saw this shit coming. We all saw it coming from the Himalayas, coming down into the season. First of all, when you don't take care of business in the offseason, you sign a bunch of players that are my height out here and don't think that that's going to have any residual effect on the team's performance. Second of all, you don't take care of the big elephant in the room, Russell Westbrook, who is now shooting 8%. Kobe's rookie number from the three-point line while making $1 billion a year. But again, we're not even trying to pile on top of Russ, but God damn it, we're going to have to talk about his ineptitude this episode for how he handled the end-of-game strategy. My brother in Christ, you are up, leading the basketball game, and you decide to take a 2-for-1 brick, that ended up costing the Lakers the game. LeBron James ended up missing the potential game-tying shot to send it into overtime, but probably like a lot of games this season until something dramatically changes, the Lakers are going to end up losing in some bogus-ass fashion that we could probably point back to 2 or 3 key plays during the game that said this is why we are in the hell we are in. So, with that said, Los Angeles Lakers are now 0-3, dead last in any fucking offensive ranking that you want to actually bring up. They are shooting about 21% from the three-point line this season. The second worst team, the Chicago Bulls, are shooting 28% while shooting 11 less threes a game. The Lakers are shooting damn near 40 three-point shots a game, and they are the worst basketball team at attempting that in the world. I don't have many metaphors or analogies to kind of pump into this episode. When the shit stinks, the shit stinks. And now we got reports coming out, thank God, of some trade rumors, some negotiations, some thoughts from Shams Charania about what the Lakers do next to not spoil this season. But as Kevin O'Connor said in his latest article for The Ringer, Russell Westbrook is a bricklayer. And if the Lakers have any hopes of salvaging their season, he needs to be gone immediately. Kwame, my good bro, my co-host on this show, man. In so many words, how are you receiving this current state of Laker basketball? And is it even possible for them to dig themselves out of their hole on their own? Or is somebody upstairs in El Segundo going to have to wake the fuck up and make a trade?
Man, I mean, I got to be honest, man. I mean, I was trying to be blindly optimistic before the season it began, but nah, this is a different animal, man. What we're watching is absolute insanity. I mean, we all knew this team couldn't shoot, but this is worse than what I had thought. To have this team shooting as poorly as it is and jacking up 43s a game is absurd. Like, this is crazy, man. LeBron said it after game 1. We got some good looks, but I think teams are going to be giving us those looks. And after game 2 and 3, we've seen the exact same thing. Teams are just letting us have it, and we are shooting them joints, and we are bricking them. It doesn't matter. Everybody's shooting them, from LeBron, from Russ to Damian Jones. Everybody's shooting threes. And it's open shot. It's a look. I get it. But, man, this team is not very good on that end. I'll give credit where credit is due. Defensively, teams actually look pretty good. We've been able to defend, get out on the breaks, which is something that we are able to do with the new youth that was infused, getting rid of all the geezers from last year. So then we have some moments where I'm like, watching this team's kind of fun. We get out on the break, have some fun, throw some oops, a little bit of showtime, razzle dazzle. That's all fun. But there's an elephant in the room. And the elephant at this point is like squeezing out the door frame, like it's poking out the room. We have to do something about this, man. Last night I guess it was technically the afternoon, but was one of the craziest forms of sabotage I've ever seen in my life. My brother ran down and shot a mid-range clunker. I can't remember the last time I've seen him hit one of those pull-up middies, like in a natural game flow. And I couldn't tell you how long. But he decided to go for a 2-for-1 while up and sold the game. And we're supposed to just move on from this? Like, you're telling me the locker room's supposed to be like, no, Russ is our leader. Russ is our guy. Really? Come on, man.
Last person that stood beside Russ that wasn't named Juan Toscano Anderson right now. Like, you hear it in Anthony Davis's post-game comment. 3 games in, folks. This is the most frustrated I've seen Anthony Davis. And this man has been battling injuries for years now with the Los Angeles Lakers. And it really just feels like, and you'll see it in the replays. I'm sure everyone's seeing all over the timeline of the reaction that LeBron and AD have when Russ took that pull-up jumper for his self-proclaimed 2-for-1 opportunity. First of all, what is Russell Westbrook doing back in the game? The Lakers were up, I believe 9 when they put Russ back in the game. Yeah. And that shit went straight down the tube. And there were other issues that popped up. The Lakers decided they wanted to hold on to the ball to end the game instead of being aggressive and scoring. But damn it, Darvin Ham, this is the second time you put his ass back in there. And for the second time, the Lakers blow a lead or just lose control of the basketball game entirely. I'm not here to tell Darvin Ham how to run his rotations. But damn it, if you were hired in and they said, yeah, we really like the way that of his vision of how he's going to handle the Russell Westbrook minutes while he's here in his situation, and Ham really feels like he can win with him. Brother, if I showed you tape of how this man performed, by game 2.5, you would say, oh, yeah, he cannot be on the court when it's winning time. He cannot be on the court when it's winning time. I don't care how good of defense he plays on a Kawhi with one leg. Okay, that was fantastic. We'll give him his pats on the back, but damn it, we're not in the moral victory business. If he has no business being on the court, I don't care if he makes $5 or $47 million. You have to put the best players out there to win the basketball game. I'm not an NBA genius. I'm not an NBA head coach. My 4-year-old son could have looked at the trend and said, yeah, Daddy, maybe we should just leave him on the sidelines. Maybe he should just watch and support, and we could get him some pom-poms and he could cheer the team on. But to put him back into the game means that you are either doubling down on your own confidence in that you are right and that this is going to prove itself out, or Darvin Ham is being forced to play Russell Westbrook these minutes, these crunch time minutes. Some type of politics are behind it. I don't think it's politics, especially when the Lakers front office says like, hey, we've given him all the power to do X, Y, and Z with these rotations. I truly think Ham is kind of vetting through completely, wow, this man is really ass and he's going to keep shooting ourselves in the foot until I take him out. When will we have that answer? When will Darvin Ham have that confidence in saying, you know what, starting at 9 minutes in the fourth, that's the end of Russell Westbrook's game. Whatever he's done up to that point, this is the end, and we're just going to ride it out with whatever momentum that we have going. We're lost. The team is lost. The team identity from an offensive side is getting worse and worse and worse as we see more. The good, the Lakers are the second best basketball team on the defensive end. Number 2 in defensive rating. Unfortunately, in the year of our Lord 2022, going into the 2023 season, being the best defense only gets you so far. when you are the worst 3-point shooting team in the league by far. 8 basis points. You are that much worse than the second worst shooting 3-point team. Guys, math is math. Threes are worth more than twos. And if you are on this historic pace of ineptitude 3-point shooting, none of the defensive highlights are really going to matter. Kwame, you probably touch on this, but the Lakers in transition are an exciting basketball team.
Yeah.
And from defense to offense might just be the only way until God returns home that this team's going to be able to put up consistent points on the board.
That's a terrible outlook if the only way we can score reliably is transition. But no, you're totally right. Your points about Darvin Ham's end game decisions. This is 2 games in a row where he's reinserted Russell Westbrook late in the fourth quarter of a winnable game, and we watched it completely go downhill. And the coach, well, obviously Ty Lue didn't say anything, but last night Chauncey Billups gave us a nugget. They'd asked him about putting Nurkic on Russell Westbrook at the end of the game, and he said,
7 foot tall Yusuf Nurkic.
Yeah, the center for them. And they said, we were just going to kind of play off Russ. That is going to be the game plan for 29 other teams for the rest of the season, as long as this man continues to play minutes almost at any point in time. That's what they'll go to. Because at the end of the day, like we've all been saying, our team isn't built as shooters. We don't have a bunch of snipers out there. So now you could already play off your man because these guys can't shoot reliably. Now your center just gets to patrol the paint, making the paint completely locked down. You're basically playing 4-on-5 on offense. Sure, you can give it to Russ and have him jack up a corner 3, but even if he makes 7 of them joints, the next team will do the same because he's not reliable enough to do that consistently. So this is going to be a problem we're going to see left and right. When the defense doesn't have to respect you at all, a lot of problems start to happen.
Yeah.
I don't know how you overcome that. I don't think you can. And when you have a player that's worth this much of your roster, it's so much money is tied up into, you almost have to make a deal. And not even just purely off the basis that Russ is playing like ass. Yes, he's playing like ass. I don't want that to go by without me saying, yes, he's playing like ass. But that's not the sole reason for needing to get rid of him. You need to retool this team.
Yeah.
Like I said, on the defensive end, we have been great on the defensive end. We've been able to get out and run due to our youth and athleticism. Now, we could just get some complementary shooting to add to that, and we might have something here. But until that happens, we're going to keep seeing the same story replay every day. This is like a recurring nightmare, and we're going to get it every game that the Lakers play. I'm tired. I know you're tired. Laker Nation is tired. And again, like I said, even if Russell's playing well, we still got to send him, dog. That's 47 M's tied up in salary that could easily go to other places. So it's going to come down to the front office. Are they serious enough about this season or not? What they told us last year, they're not. What they told us all offseason, they're not. So do we have any reason to assume that anything's going to change? I can hear as many rumors as I can. They can hit us every Monday with the new update. After every sour Lakers loss, they can hit us with new rumors. They can do whatever, bro. But until the trade is gone through, we are still sitting in this perpetual nightmare we cannot get out. It's like Happy Death Day. Y'all seen that movie? If you haven't, there's 2 of them. Watch the first one. The second one's kind of mid. But however, it's like we're stuck in a bad dream and we can't get out. And the front office has the keys, and they dropped them in the crack in the sidewalk, and they're trying to get them out.
Yeah,
I don't know how much longer I could do this, bro. I don't. I just don't. It's tough to watch my team just take L's that feel self-inflicted. Can't keep doing that, man.
And again, it's not just Russ from a shooting standpoint, right?
No, not at all.
It is everybody. Now, Russ is their worst 3-point shooter on the team by far at 8.5% from 3 on 4 attempts. 4 attempts, brother.
That's crazy.
4 attempts. He's hitting them at an 8.5% clip, right? The Lakers' best 3-point shooter is Matt Ryan. We knew that coming into the game, into the day. He's at 40% on 2.5 shots. After that, the Lakers do not have a three-point shooter that is shooting above 29%. Austin Reeves is at 28.6. LeBron James is at 25. Kendrick Nunn's at 23. Patrick Beverley's at 21. Anthony Davis is still booty cheeks from 3 at 20%. And again, so
he hit the backboard last night. Hit the backboard.
Gold stars for AD. AD, real quick, brother. Real side note, real quick. I don't mean to, you're doing your thing. You're doing your thing. You are the catalyst of the defense, right? You are out there hooping. You getting nicks and bruises, falling down, but you're getting back up, right? I'd be ready to walk the plank if your ass went down for any bullshit this early in the season, right? And maybe you're doing this, you're shooting this many threes because you're so tired of carrying the whole fucking team on your back on defense. But my man, a tear rolls down my eye every time you pull up for 3. I'm going to just keep it a beam with you. And I understand that Darvin Ham wants you shooting more threes this year that you have in your entire NBA career. But, brother, it is a BBL factory anytime the Lakers pull up from 3. And you are damn near 7 feet tall. They can't stop you down low, AD. I beg of thee, man. Please, we don't need Anthony Davis shooting 20% from 3 because I'm going to consider hurting myself after every miss. Don't want to harp on it too much, man. Mental notes there. Just remember, anytime you go to pull up for 3, you be like, hey, Ricky's kind of got a razor. It's a little bit close right now. Like, maybe I should just pull up and drive, right? But as a collection, the Lakers cannot get it done with their outside shooting right now. And yes, there may be some regression towards the mean in that they become bottom 3rd in the league of 3-point shooting. But I see it, man. I see the folks. Who are your tall 3-point sharpshooters? Everybody we expect to be a good 3-point shooter is literally 6'4" and shorter. All right? I'm no genius, man. It's just going to be hard to get these shots. I mean, it's funny. The Lakers have, they said something ridiculous about the Lakers shooting percentage on open shots. It's literally in the pits of hell. So like LeBron said after game 1, they're getting the looks. Why they're getting the looks? Maybe because folks just are laughing at you anytime you go to shoot a jump shot if you're in a Laker uniform these days. But the personnel is the biggest issue. These aren't schemes. This isn't a scheme thing. The Lakers just can't hit the broadside of a fucking barn right now. So as we transition and after the break, we're going to try to find some silver linings. Shams dropped an article. Javon's been hinting at it last few weeks. This whole 2025 game, Woj's been talking about it. Wait and see period. We're going to talk about that and seeing what help could come over the hills, which cometh our help. So we are going to be right back, and hopefully this won't be as loud of a segment as the first one was. Late Night Lake Show. Stick around.
The Late Night Lake Show podcast is sponsored by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best legal way to play daily fantasy player props in states like California, New York, Texas, and more. You pick 2 to 5 players and an over-under on their projections, and you can win up to 10 times on any entry. The best part is you can mix players from different sports. You could take the over on LeBron combined with the under on Mahomes in the same entry. Prize Picks is the easiest way to play daily fantasy because it's just you versus the projected numbers. Just use our promo code LNLS and any deposit you make can receive 100% instant deposit match up to $100. So go support the brand and go win you some money. It's the best of both worlds. Again, use our promo code LNLS.
Hey, man. I think we'd be remiss if we didn't speak on a couple other players that have been out there just jogging.
Oh, please.
Just running laps.
Let's run through the cardio team.
Yeah, the all cardio team. We got Kendrick Nunn. You know, over the last 2 games, he's a smooth 0 for 10. He hasn't made a basket in the last 2 games. He's just running around.
Didn't he say we would remember him?
Yeah.
We forgot we'll remember him this season.
I already forgot him. He missed all last season. He hooped a little bit in preseason, but then he came into the regular season. He might as well have just not come in at all. He might as well just stay at home fixing his knee or whatever he was working on last year. And then we got Mr. 94 feet, who told us by the numbers he's a shooter.
Yeah. Yep.
He ain't shooting shit.
In fact, he's our 3-and-D wing. If you hear Pelinka correctly. Yeah, he was our 3-and-D wing.
Well, we're missing the first part is completely been missed. We're not getting any of that. So, I mean, those two specifically are not doing good for us. Pat Bev, while he can provide some defense, he does also sully in a bunch of ridiculous antics, stupid ass fouls. They're putting him in playmaker positions, and he's really not that great of a playmaker in totality. And that just shows the depth level of this team. On a standard NBA team, Patrick Beverley's probably your 4th or 5th playmaking option. On the Lakers, he's sitting at like 3, bro. That's not good. So he has to do more than what his skill set has allowed him in previous years, and we're seeing it. That's why we're seeing turnovers. That's why we're seeing bad shots. That's why we're not really seeing much when he catches the ball, except him just standing there in a triple threat position and then does like a swing through 3-pointer and bricks it. We're not getting much. And then we got Kendrick Nunn, who, when he's not scoring buckets, provides nothing on the basketball court. He's never been the greatest assist man.
No.
He can't guard anybody out there. And if he's not scoring, he's just running laps, just breaking a sweat, running around there. So these were our two acquisitions of the offseason. Yeah. These are our offseason acquisitions for the past 2 years. They were supposed to really do something, and they've done nothing. The only trade we made all offseason was for Pat Bev. Yep. He hasn't given us anything, man.
Nope.
So I don't know what to do here with this. I'm a little confused. I'm a little stuck.
Well, great transition. You don't know what to do. The Lakers don't know what to do. And they said they don't know what they're going to do until they get a larger sample size of, yes, not just only their bullshit, but hoping for the bullshit around the league. And I see we got Omar hopping in here. Let's get him all situated. Omar, you made it, man. How you feeling?
I'm still thinking about that 2-for-1 possession last night or yesterday afternoon.
Yep. And we've done plenty of yelling about that in the state of the franchise as it stands today. Hoping that you can provide a little bit of optimism as we start looking at what the hell the Lakers are going to do to, kind of resolve this shit show. But, glad to have you stop by, brother. The Lakers are, according to Shams Charania and Adrian Wojnarowski last week, are waiting for about a quarter of the season to take place before they evaluate if they need to pull the trigger on any significant changes. Shams, in his article today, outside of outlining just all the Russell Westbrook bullshit, right, said that, the Lakers are still very interested in elite 6'7" sharpshooting Terry Rozier. Well, okay, so maybe Terry Rozier is 6'1" and not an elite wing sharpshooter, but he's got that dog in him. That Darvin Ham seems to like a lot. But obviously that would be surrounded around the Gordon Hayward deal with a couple of other pieces. Other teams that he had mentioned were the San Antonio Spurs, right? Still bringing up Utah and their negotiations with the Lakers. Jordan Clarkson's name's coming back up, Mike Conley, so on and so have you. But Omar, I mean, you read the article just like everyone in Laker Nation, fiending for some type of ray of sunlight. Just talk to me through what your thoughts on some of the names that are resurfacing for a Russell Westbrook trade, and if the Lakers can afford to wait 17 more games before evaluating if it's time to pull the trigger.
They can't wait 17 more games. It's a disservice to the fans. It's a disservice to Russell Westbrook. It's a disservice to LeBron and AD with the roster construction as currently set. We're bottom tier shooting team. We have no offensive schematics that you can possibly implement. We have centers from opposing teams guarding Russell Westbrook like 5-6 feet apart. They're literally running the same game plan we had against the Houston Rockets in the bubble playoffs.
Speak on it.
Which is, it makes no sense to me that the front office saw us absolutely dunk on the Rockets in the bubble. 4-1 was a series victory. And now we are just going to wait 20 games to see how this experiment continues to play out. Makes zero sense to me. And these names, they're nice. And, there's obviously some potential there, as you guys have probably already talked about. Defensive rating, second best in the league, right? There's lots of promise and potential when it comes to the defense part of it. It's just, shooting is number one of the biggest issues on this team. And then number two, we have no wing size players. And the players that we are heavily interested in are in 6'1" guys, which makes literally no sense. What's Dennis Schroeder going to do when he comes back in like 2-3 weeks, right?
Be sure.
He's short. So I think I hope as they continue to drop these games, right? Like the West is not easy. Like
no easy games out West.
We have the Nuggets. None. The Utah Jazz look like a good team.
Real quick, Omar, I want you to keep going, but I just want to stake my claim. While the West is not easy, the threshold for being one of the best teams in the West isn't that fucking far either for the Lakers. Like 2 moves of competent roster construction, and now this team is sitting there in the ranks, in the likes. Yeah, you can still make a case that the Warriors will always be better no matter what mini move the Lakers make. The Clippers, who have their own life of motherfuckers that aren't healthy. Kawhi and John Wall already sitting out games for maintenance. And then you could, everybody else, the Nuggets, whatever, the Pelicans, whatever, those are going to be good teams. But damn it, the Lakers should be a goddamn good team too, man. So, while the West isn't a tire fire at the bottom like it usually is, and those teams are now C- basketball teams, all that really means to me is that if the Lakers don't be a fucking competent basketball team, they're going to be in the pits of hell waiting around for everybody else to get bad.
Yeah. I mean, dude, LeBron and Anthony Davis are still fucking good players. Like they're problems to be had with, like, when you're going up against them. Like, if you just put competent, like complementary players around them, we have a puncher's chance. I mean, we talk about this every single episode. Like, you put them in a series, I mean, it's going to be really hard to defend them. Really hard. We're making it very easy for teams to defend us because it's 4 against 5. I mean, let's be honest, right? It's 4 against 5. And then it's the issues even, further circumvented because we have no shooting. Right. Last year we had no defense and we had shooting. Now we have no shooting and we actually have defense. And then to add to that, Ricky, like, we are 1 or 2 pieces or moves away because of how good this defense looks too. Like this looks like an elite defensive team. Like they're really bought in and playing hard. And there's like, when we cause a turnover, if there's like a live ball rebound, like defense to offense, it's like 3 seconds. Like there's a highlight play like every single time. We have athletes on the team. So I just don't see how the front office doesn't see that. And it's just so evident, like, how low is your basketball IQ? And how do you have these jobs in the front office to not be able to make competent decisions? Like it makes no sense to me. Like I'm sure every other like GM or executive right now is like laughing their ass off, like how stupidly like this team is handling these decisions. Like it's ridiculous.
Are they doing that and then saying, oh yeah, I think now it's time that we make a deal with the Lakers and maybe we won't demand that second first round pick. There is blood in the water right now, man. The more the Lakers wait and the more the Lakers lose, the more it's going to be a non-negotiable about both of those first round picks. Because they'll just turn around and say, fuck y'all. There are 28, 29 other teams that if we are going to pull the cord on contending this year, everybody else is going to have at least some type of interest in seeing what we have in the cookie jar. So the Lakers waiting, thinking that they're going to be the only motherfucker that is going to be looking for these bottom teams and kind of going bargain hunting. It's lunacy, brother. And this is another reason why we say they cannot wait.
I mean, yeah, we talked about it pre-show, Rick, but like, man, Like, there's no bad team that's going to do anything with Russ. At this point, like, nobody is in the league is going to want him. If you're a contender, you're not going to bring him in. If you're a bad team, why would you bring him in and stunt your young guy's development and growth to bring this guy and play him? If anything, the point of trading him, a team is either just going to waive him, wave and stretch, or just send him home, buy him out, whatever it may be. They're just doing it for the picks at that point. But like you said, Rick, the longer we wait, the only thing it's doing is making the picks a non-negotiable. Had you done in the summer, maybe you might have been able to, squeeze something out earlier on. But the longer you wait, it's only getting worse. People are seeing the locker room drama, the post-game interviews. They're cackling. GMs are laughing, holding their bellies, slapping their knees, all the good stuff, because it's funny. At this point, the Lakers are going to be in such a desperate position, they might have to give everything. Every second-round pick in the history of their franchise and the first two. And they're going to have to give cash considerations, whatever. At this point, we're not making the problem any better. It's only getting worse. There's no point in waiting 20 games for the locker room to be completely torn down, for people ready to come to blows because this bonehead is doing 2-for-1s when winning a game. Like, what are we waiting for that we didn't have an entire previous season to entertain? I'm very confused as to what's going to happen. And even if there's a disgruntled superstar, it's like, you know what? I want out. There are literally 29 other teams that could offer a better package than us, bar none. So what are we actually doing here? What are we actually waiting for? What do we actually hope to come of this? Like Omar said, when we're playing these games and Russ is on the court in crunch time, their center is literally not guarding this man. So our best play, the Bron and AD pick and roll, can't even function because whether the big is on the strong side or the weak side, you're taking an option completely away because the big is going to help over the lane. So what do? You either got to take a tough shot, drive into the defense, or kick it to Russ for an open three. None of those sound like great options.
Not great, bub.
So, but this is what we're dealing with, man. This is self-sabotage. When you have this guy on a roster, what are you supposed to do? Unless you literally are going to surround him with 4 other snipers, I don't see how he can be effective at this stage of his career.
And
that's not just going for our team.
That was the LeBron James method of maximizing him on the floor. Like, put a bunch of sharpshooters around him. And what the Lakers put around LeBron.
It's better than Russ.
They just playmakers.
Right.
Like, I get it, man. But Dwayne Wade, people try to compare it to Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade was never this bad of a player. And Dwayne Wade was a lock on defense.
Like, he's one
Dwayne
of the
Wade
best
wasn't a
defensive shooting
liability.
guards, yeah.
Exactly. He's the best shot blocking shooting guard in the history of the league. Like, Dwayne Wade is a very, very different player. And I get why their offensive skill sets were similar. Dwayne Wade, when he didn't have the ball, wasn't just running around. That's what it feels like Russell
wasn't
Westbrook
in the dunker spot, just waiting for the ball, which is where we find Russ a lot. And I know that's schematically how they drew it up, but damn it, if I got a 6'3" dude in the dunker spot, what are we really doing here? What is our objective of this
fucking NBA?
Y'all long did it take him to jump up to the rim? By the time he jumps up to the rim, the big's going to be there.
Gone,
and now
man.
you have a battle in the air.
Like, I can only laugh when I see things like Anthony Davis, shooting 3 and 4 threes during the game, making probably none of them, right? Russell Westbrook battling in the post for rebounds that don't end up in his possession because he's by far the shortest guy battling in the post. The whole thing about just finding usefulness in Russ, I think it comes back to this is what happens when you have a hyper athletic guy coming out and nothing else really builds in his game except the ferocity and the intensity that he brings. All right, now let's put him in an environment where he's past his athletic prime. His confidence is now in the shithole because the Lakers just won't let him roll out there and rain and play whatever type of basketball he wants to play. It's really down to what's the purpose, right? Like, Kwame, we were talking, I don't know where Russ goes after this, that the team that receives him is like, yeah, we're looking forward to this contributions from him on the basketball court. Yeah, everybody's talking about Deion Waiters. Yeah, he just needs to go somewhere happy where he could just freely go put up points on bad teams. It's like, brother, those bad teams have players now that they want to give playing time to and develop on their own. It's gonna get nastier after this Lakers stop. Then it's gonna go back to just rainbows and butterflies. But Real quick, fellas, I wanted to go through the Shams article and the teams that he touched on as potential Lakers trade partners, and just get you guys POV on these packages. So, obviously, the Lakers have been very closely tied to the Indiana Pacers with Buddy Hield, Miles Turner. It seems like Indiana is really not coming off of those first round pick demands, which I'd start to understand more and more every game, right? When Lakers fans turn around and be like, why is no one getting Buddy Hield or Miles Turner on their own? Why is it just the Lakers have to do that? Well, bro, supply and demand, right? The Lakers have a need. They are desperate, right? The Pacers are going to tax, or they're just going to keep kicking it down the road. At some point in time, the Buddy Hield and Miles Turner would be useful on a contender if we're at the All-Star break, right? Those players can easily be moved, and those teams that are going to receive them can make justification why they traded for them. And what are we just going to be? Livid that they didn't take the worst package or the better package of 2 first-round picks. So we talked about the Pacers package plenty. Let's get into some of these other names. The Charlotte Hornets came back up. Scary Terry Rozier. You know, they're trying to figure out what they're going to do with their roster with Gordon Hayward, Rozier, Kelly Oubre on the team. But Steve Clifford's got them 2-1 to start off the year, and both LaMelo and Terry Rozier have been out with injuries. So, is that one of the teams the Lakers are waiting on for them to completely bottom out? I don't know. Well, I'll start with you, Omar. How's that Hornets package? Does that work for you? Does that check enough boxes? And I know at the end of the day, we're taking probably any package that gets slapped on our table to switch something up here. But trying to put a little bit of a filter on right now. How does that Hornets deal look for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point, if we're assuming that, like, what we're giving up is the same with all the teams, I think they give enough versatility, right? Because you get a little bit more size at the wing between Gordon Hayward, Kelly Oubre, who can shoot, both can shoot, and then potentially PJ Washington. So you could see some of these guys have some rotational minutes for sure, and then like there's added versatility that we get on our team with those guys. And then I think also like there's a potential to see when LaMelo gets back, they could start tanking for Wembanyama, and then that would be like a very, very interesting pairing if they could get him or get that first pick, and then they have LaMelo Ball and Wembanyama. That would be a really, really cool, mix of talent. I'd be pretty high on those guys just because of the upside that they bring when you put them next to LeBron and AD with the shooting, the size, and the length. And I think they would just be able to. They're like plug and play type players, and I'm sure you'll get into the other package too with the Spurs.
Yep. Yeah. No, I think you're right on the money with that, Kwame. I'm sure I know you taking that deal, and I think you see some pieces in there that could help. Just tell me real quick your thoughts on the redundancy of asking for Terry Rozier when the Lakers literally have all the guards in the universe and then have one that's coming back from a hand injury.
Yeah, I mean, it's all just kind of the same. I mean, sure, you could say Terry Rozier's offensive and defensive capabilities are probably higher than most at his height and just, in general, and especially on our roster. But that's fine. I guess the real prize is probably the Gordon Hayward, the Kelly Oubre, the PJ Washington, just to add depth. Again, when you really look at our roster, we have a lot of guys who are like end of like the roster type of guys getting rotational minutes. Like JTA was barely sniffing time with the Warriors. And granted, he's been good thus far, so I don't want to, talk too bad about him. Troy Brown isn't a guy who's, garnered a ton of minutes in his career either. Albeit last night, he played very well in his stint. Probably should have stayed in instead of subbing Russ in back for him, but that's a topic for another time. And then Damian Jones, another guy who hasn't played a ton, but bounced around, end of the bench kind of guy. These are guys getting rotational minutes for us. If nothing else, take the depth. Like I said, hey, Terry Rozier, I understand the height issue. I don't really care necessarily about like added defense. I think the scheme has been great because we're the second best defensive team already, even though we lack immense wing depth and we played teams with good wings, the Warriors and then you go to the Clippers and then even a little bit of Portland, but we played teams with good wings and we've been able to see it through. I think we'll be okay, but we need to redo the offense and we need to add depth. And that was the point that I made earlier. Russ isn't the only problem, but he's the problem that ties up $47 million in usable salary. That needs to
Exactly.
go to bring players in. So that's my assessment. I do the trade for those reasons.
Kwame, that's a good point, because if you look at it, right, look how much of an impact Troy Brown made. Those guys that you just mentioned, they're like a better version or a higher upside at offense version of those types of guys. And look how better the team looked with LeBron and AD and the other pieces. Yeah, I mean, and then the other thing to say about Terry Rozier is that he's a pretty clutch, like big time playoff performer too. Like he's not gonna shy away. I remember back when Braun was with the Cavs, like Terry Rozier would kind of go toe to toe. He ain't back down. So I think that's something big when a lot of people always bring up that Lakers Sun series, and they always talk about how all the role players missed a bunch of shots. And they always forget the context of LeBron getting hurt, AD was hurt, and all kind of went to hell. But, I think at this point we take any package and try to use all that salary.
Shout out to Terry Rozier. He also slammed Kevin Durant. If you haven't seen it, look it up on YouTube.
He did put it on his head.
He did.
Baptize him.
Oh. Coming up next, obviously, is the San Antonio Spurs. And I think at this point in time, it sounds like the whole ghost of Pop is never going to do a deal with the Lakers. I think that's kind of worn off. We've seen enough rumors of what the Spurs are looking for the Lakers. The Spurs were interested in Kyle Kuzma back when he ended up flipped for Russ. And now we're getting conversations from Shams about the Spurs and Lakers talking recently. The Lakers have a lot of interest, obviously, in Josh Richardson. He is taller than Terry Rozier. I'm just going to put the baseline. He is taller than me. So now he fits into a role of need, apparently. 6'5", right? Shooting 47% from three on 5.67 attempts a game. Would easily catapult him to the best Lakers three-point shooter on the team by far. Other guys mentioned in that package were Petrol, who's a big man in San Antonio, who I actually like. I like the
Portal.
You said Petrol?
Petrol.
I've definitely been calling that boy Petrol for ever.
Kwame
knows how bad I am with
Portal.
people's fucking names. I will butcher the shit out of him.
That dude's a hooper, though.
Portal. Yeah. Good. What was it? Petrol? Portal?
Podal. Yeah.
Like total, but Podal.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, bet. Shout out to him. And then Doug McDermott, since leaving the Chicago Bulls, actually showed that he can shoot threes. So those are also three consistent names that I see can help the Lakers. And it's not just one that doesn't make sense in this rotation. So, fellas, is this Spurs package the tastiest out of all of them that you guys have heard so far? Kwame, I'll start with you, man.
No, I'd take either of the other two teams' trades, I'll be honest. I like Podal, and honestly, our centers are ass.
Yeah.
Anthony Davis might have to play 5 the whole time. We haven't seen Thomas Bryant in the regular season yet, but Damian Jones, man, that guy catches the ball. And it looks like it's his first day out there, bro. I have no idea. It's hilarious to watch him catch the ball on the ground, because like the sheer look of panic in his eyes is crazy. I guess it's all easy when the passes used to be lobs and he'd go sky for him or whatever. But man, there's been a couple times where I've looked at this dude like, bro, he dropped some dimes from LeBron yesterday, and LeBron was visibly frustrated. It's like, bro, come on. Like, all you have to do is catch the ball. And then, like, I did all the hard work for you. Just catch the ball, put it in the hoop. But, he hasn't looked very great. He can't hit threes. That whole stretch experiment, they deaded that so fast. The man only played 8 minutes last night. I don't even know if he played much the first 2 games. I mean, I'm sure he did, but I don't care to look back at that. But Thomas Bryant, we haven't seen. We could use a nice center like Podal. You know what I'm saying? But I'd rather have Miles Turner.
I was gonna say, it sounds like you kind of like it. It sounds like
I like Podal. And honestly, Jay Rich,
Podal's
I've always
legit.
been a fan of Jay Rich. I've liked him since he was back in Miami. I like him, but again, he's basically just a 2 guard. I mean, he's not. You don't really want him guarding wings, whatever. But I don't think it's a bad deal. It's not the best out of the 3, main rumored ones. But like I said, push comes to shove, I'll do any deal at this damn point.
Yeah,
I'll let it ride.
Okay. All right. Omar, I think you gave your POV, right?
Yeah. I'm in the same boat as Kwame.
Yep. Finally, obviously, the Lakers have still been in contact with the Utah Jazz. even though they're Bogdanovich short of what they previously had when they talked in the summer. Obviously, Jordan Clarkson's name came back up. The Utah Jazz are playing decent basketball, though. So this whole thing and the kind of the larger point is the Lakers are waiting to see which teams are actually going to go full tank for Wenyen. Now I'm calling Wenyen
Wembanyama.
Wembanyama.
You got dyslexia, bro?
I do, dog. What's his
Okay.
short name? Can I just call him Wemby?
Yeah,
Victor.
that's what he calls himself.
Victor. I can do Victor. Okay.
He calls
Pause.
himself Wemby, so whatever.
Okay, well, I'll give him. I can do whatever is not his full name, and that's what I'm comfortable with. So yeah, it's either team. The Lakers are waiting for teams to go into full tank for Wemby and Scoot before they decide to make a trade. That kind of takes us to around Thanksgiving, right after Thanksgiving, moving into December. A time which I don't know if you guys have noticed, the Lakers have a pretty rough schedule to start the year. In a time that the Lakers could easily be like 7-18, right? They go full 25 games, 6-17, right? There's not a lot of scenarios where we think the Lakers are going to be right 15-10 during that time frame. Or anything around that, man. The Lakers are almost a guarantee to be an under 500 basketball team by the time that this first checkpoint comes up in the season. So to wrap up the show, I'll just ask y'all a simple question. Will it be too late if the Lakers wait until December to improve this roster? What do you think, though?
Yeah, I think it's too late because you're already going to be asking way too much from LeBron and AD. I think based off of their performances, they've been balling, they've been hooping, right? And they're like shooting, like their shooting percentages are about 50%. They're like shooting really well, defending really well. AD looked like a monster last night, 3 dunks in a row. He's starting to get his feet wet. So we're just wasting. I mean, this time now. How important it would have been to make this trade in the offseason would have been huge, right? Because we start building that chemistry, start building it from day one, and you start figuring out your rotation. Doing this, and especially like asking a first-year head coach to do all this, it's going to be very, very difficult in a West that is really, really deep. So I just think it's too late. And then at that point, it's like, is it worth it to give up those 2 first-round picks too? You know what I mean? Like, it gets to be really, really, really difficult. And considering what we get back, like if we get that Spurs package instead of the other 2 that we already prefer, like how good do we feel like going into the season? And I know they've also mentioned that like they still want cap space free for next year. So that's also another point that I know the Shams article didn't get into, but they don't want salary that goes into next season, long-term salary, which severely hurts our chances of making deals easier on our front. I did want to mention one thing. I made a mistake in the last podcast, and I actually reached out to, you guys know Yossi Goslan from Hoops Hype, the salary cap expert. So I reached out to him because I wasn't sure. I mentioned that Russ's contract decreases as the games go on. That's not true. So even from now until the trade deadline, we still can use up that $47 million contract. So for all the Late Night Lake Show podcast listeners, I wanted to correct what I mentioned on the podcast last time. So if we do decide to make a trade anytime from now until the deadline, it would have the $47 million usable salary to make a trade.
Well, that's nice. That'll be great for Jeannie's expense report. That things that she does not do and can just write it off at the end. So, fellas, the folks listening, I didn't mean for this to be so damn depressing and dramatic, but at some point in time, the pitchforks got to come out. It's game where we are in the infancy of the NBA season. But I'll tell you one thing, man. Lakers fans ain't going to sit around and keep spending money and wasting their time watching a team that they know could be much better with very, very small but decisive tweaks and y'all think that you're still going to get full support all the way around. I know there was a little bit of traffic on what was it, that Sunday game, that folks weren't showing up on time and stuff, but LA is kind of notorious for bad traffic and late arrivals for start games. People were joking like this is a message to Jeannie and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that won't be a joke. All right, I know tickets are not cheap to go into Staples. If she is riding the LeBron James money machine, that's really nasty, but I get it. But at some point, the Lakers are going to really start feeling the residual effects of being incompetent. Folks are saying and claiming that they're not watching this season, right? And I don't necessarily blame them after seeing what I see these first few games. Obviously, we keep the lights on over here at Late Night Lake Show, so this will never stop. But for your 50%, your 60%, your 75% Laker fans that have other things to do with their life, especially if they're not on the West Coast, Midwest, East Coast, overseas Lakers fans, they are going to divert their time elsewhere. And that's just the fact of the matter. Lakers, you are on a ticking time bomb right now. And unfortunately, they set their clocks for 20 games. Lakers fans do not have 20 games.
Man,
we do not.
We did 82 last year. We're
We
just
did
wasting our
82
time,
last
bro.
year.
Like at this point, I don't even have confidence they'll do a trade by 20 games. I think at this point, I wouldn't be shocked if they packed it in and just let this boo-boo product run on the court for a whole nother year, and then just try and hope that open cap space, that the floodgates will open and everybody will ignore everything that happened in Lakerland the last 2 seasons between the locker room and the front office being idiots and all that, and then free agents are just going to sprint because they want to wear the purple and gold, even though Rob Pelinka's heading the ship and Jeannie is out there too, just doing her thing, going in interviews crying woe is me because people are questioning her front office decisions. Like, there's so many things that are wrong with this organization. It's kind of crazy right now. There's too many layers. It's too much to even unpack. But at some point, they need to put action to their words. I'm tired of hearing Rob speaking parables. I'm tired of Darvin Ham and the coaches just telling us the same thing. I'm tired of Jeannie crying. Somebody needs to do something.
She's smiling and pointing at LeBron.
Yeah, man. Put the action to the paper. I don't care about your words. I don't care about none of it. Do something. Do something. You know the meme where you got like the dude who's poking like his little stick and he's poking whatever, just like, hey, do something. That's what I'm doing in the Lakers front office. Do something. Something needs to be done. How can they wake up every day and think that they're doing their jobs to the fullest? They think that they're honoring the fan base, the people that are lining their pockets. This is insanity. This can't be stood for, and they all need to see. They need to pay for their crimes, man, at this point. This is absurd. Something needs to be better. This is the Los Angeles Lakers, man. This isn't the Orlando Magic. Shout out to the Magic fans. This isn't the Charlotte Hornets. This isn't one of the bottom feeding teams. We're supposed to be the greatest franchise in sports, and these guys trot this nonsense out here and think that it's sweet. What the hell is wrong with these people? I'm sorry, man. This is too much greedy. I'm over it. I'm tired of it.
Greedy right
I'm tired of it. And I'm tired of them telling us these half-baked ass plans. I don't want to hear another trade rumor until you make a trade. Rob, sew your lips tight. Don't tell nobody you called nobody. Until you do a trade, I don't want to hear shit, bro. Because we're going out here watching this weak-ass team every night, hoping that something will be different and we're getting the same thing. What's the definition of insanity?
Doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results.
This is what we're doing. We're doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting dubs to just pop out. By 20 games, we could be 0-20. We going to find a trade that's going to make us contenders, catapult us into a championship. That'd be the greatest story ever written. But I don't think that story's in the card for Rob. So, Rob, get on that phone story, man, and start twerking, brother. I don't care what you have to do. If you got to slide down a pole in some pantyhose, do it. Right? Get the trade completed. I'm tired of it.
I'm not into astrology. I'm not into crystals and shit like that. But if I need to get into some moon waxings and rising tides to figure out what the scenario needs to be for this team to be motivated into making roster improvements, again, roster improvements. Everybody's going to keep shitting on Russ. And to be honest, I'm wiping my hands of the whole fucking thing, right? I'll talk on it when dumb shit happens that costs the Lakers a game, but we're not here to continue on just like shitting on Russ to shit on Russ. He's shooting 8% from 3. He is a he's a shell of himself. He's not having fun. He has no confidence in himself. And it seems like he's still getting coddled all the way around. So, you know what? It is what it is. I just need to know that there is a multiverse out there where the Lakers actually make a move before 20 games and the season is lost. Because once we get to that point, Kwame, of December, and I said this on LNLS Fast Break, if we get past Christmas and start moving into the new year with no movement, ejectocito on the season. Folks are going to be gone, man.
We're done.
That's it. That's it. Time's a ticking, Lakers. Monday, October 24th, year of our Lord 2022. Heads will roll if morale is not improved.
Hey, don't worry.
It's
Maybe
facts.
we'll do the plan we did last year. Wait for the buyout market.
Let's
Get
go.
nobody because we're ass. We got DJ Augustine. That was our great buyout signing. Rob is a clown, bro. I'm sorry, dude. That was nuts. That was lunacy. He said our plan is to monitor the buyout market, but we watch everybody go everywhere else. All we did was get another minuscule point guard.
Yep.
Did somebody tell me what team DJ Augustine plays for today?
The same team we play on.
Exactly. He plays his living room couch, bro.
Yeah.
He watching like, come on, bro. I'm
He
tired of
watching the
this.
games like we are.
Come on, bro. Like,
You know what's crazy is Dan Gilbert of the Cavs would do more than Genie did for
everybody's
LeBron.
done more, bro. This is getting nasty. This is getting nasty, bro.
I need one of two things. I either need Russell Westbrook to just request a trade or LeBron to just go full on. Like I'm not playing games anymore. I'm just gonna go to Miami for
At
a
this
random
point,
vacation.
Crank the mayhem to
Just
5,000.
do it.
Whatever
Yeah.
needs to be done to get some action, do it. I get it, LeBron. You want to avoid the LeGM allegations. Do that shit, bro.
Fuck
do
the
that
picks.
shit. Fuck the picks. AD, I get it. Actually, I don't know what your problem is. Talk your shit, brother. What? Hey, I need everybody to just line up and be like, get this cat out of here. At the end of the day, like I said, Russ is not the only problem. He is not. But he's the only way
the solution.
We can fix our problem. But he's the only way we can fix the problem by getting him out and bringing in depth, shooting anybody taller than 6'1". That's what we need Russ for.
The bar is in the basement.
In hell.
Yeah, in hell. Yeah,
In
we
hell.
are. We're with Hades and Ronald Reagan and all types of bad people.
Reagan,
Yeah, man, he dropped crack into the black community. Can't forgive that. That'll do it on that note for this episode of the Late Night Lake Show podcast. Appreciate y'all. Hopefully, by us blowing off some steam, you guys were able to find some peace in the mayhem. But as always, guys, we appreciate you guys rocking with us. Make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Make sure you are subscribed to the podcast wherever you get your Lakers content. Make sure you're joining us for the post-game spaces. I got to say, our boy, friend of the show, Fazo, he kicked off the post-game space yesterday with an all-time rant. Go check it. Check that out.
Off.
On our LNLS Twitter page, Late Night Lakers, and go listen to Fazo. Yeah, that's it. We'll see y'all next week. I might, this might just turn into a gun artillery behind me, pitchforks, all types of weapons of mass destruction if the Lakers continue going down this path. So for everybody's sake and for my freedom, let's do a little bit better here. So for Omar and Kwame, it's Ricky. Late Night Lake Show. Peace.